Hello everyone and welcome to Genshin Impact. We're going to continue and maybe finish the rest of this part 2 of Sumeru 3.1. So yeah, we're gonna continue investigating where all the village keepers went off to. Did we learn anything from the criminals?
We'll know any moment now.
Paimon's been wondering. You seem to know Candace pretty well. Have you been friends for a long time?
We've known each other for some time now. She's a pretty interesting person. Even though she's an extremely strong warrior, she never misuses her powers against others.
Oh, Sino's here, and he's pretty early too.
Yes, I was here yesterday to help out a little.
To help out? By doing what?
Sharing some interrogation techniques.
Oh!
You mean you taught Candace some more persuasive methods?
Please, don't beat us anymore. We're gonna die.
Who is voicing this guy? Alright, she mastered it really quickly too.
You fear death yourselves, yet you do not hesitate to place the lives of others at risk. The ones you call mad scholars are known to us as the village keepers. They are vital members of our community, and some even count them as family. You come here to my village, and you treat my people as nothing more than stepping stones towards your goal. Tell me, what would you do to you in my position?
Mercy! Please, have mercy!
You've made your bed. We may both be desert dwellers, but there is one thing that I understand better than you. The resurrection of the Scarlet King will only result in war. And war serves no one. The people of Aru Village care little about which god is in power. A war would only cause us to lose all that we have. And that is not a responsibility that you can afford to shoulder.
We understand. We're sorry. I'll tell you everything I know. Please, just let us go.
I'm listening.
You might not believe this, but it wasn't us who came up with this idea. Someone was spreading rumors in the tavern. That's how we ended up hearing about the Scarlet King's resurrection. Some mystery man told us that mad scholars will make the perfect sacrifice to usher in the Scarlet King's resurrection. They give their lives, and we can get anything we wish for.
They're called village keepers. Slip up again, and you'll regret it.
Where are the village keepers now?
I'm not sure.
What?
That's one.
Huh? One what?
Strike. You get a total of 3. Then, you die by my hand.
Wait, I'm telling the truth. We don't know anything. It was all him.
2.
He got us to lure them out of their houses in the night with some kind of incense. We take them to a junction outside the village. Then the mystery guy takes them from there. You gotta believe me, please. I'm telling the truth, I swear. Just ask them if you don't believe me.
That was indeed the truth. Traveler, go on.
Thank you, Sano. Moving on. Do you have any idea who that mysterious person might be?
You have to believe me. If I knew that, I would have told you his name right away.
It's Dottore! Wow!
He wears a cloak, and he's always careful to cover his face. He calls himself the Scarlet King's envoy.
Dottore!
Let's get some food in us and then we'll... Whoa! Where did you come from?
Well, as you can see, I am merely sitting here and reviewing what we have deduced thus far.
You were gone for ages! And now you're suddenly sitting here musing to yourself?
You plan to leave Aru Village and keep searching for the truth of this matter, yes?
Yep. We're not gonna find out anything more by staying here. Enough with the silent treatment!
Maybe he's giving us time to think.
No. I'm just surprised that you decided to team up with him.
'Cause I don't trust
I'll
you.
hate them. You haven't helped us out at all ever since we arrived at Aru Village. Bold of you to question our choices.
That's true.
Yeah, you're all talk!
While you were investigating, I had my own work to do, which I've now finished. That going separate ways allowed me to find some important information that you all had missed.
Huh? Right here in the village?
Correct.
What did you learn?
I'm going to take you to someone. But before that, you need to understand where she's coming from.
Okay.
What does that mean?
How do you think the residents of Aru Village feel about what we're doing? In other words, do you truly believe every single word the villagers tell us?
Those fierce eyes. You look like a real fighter.
Don't change the subject.
It's quite obvious that she's intimidated by Sino's authority and strength.
Right. You were asking about the...
Okay, so I guess we're gonna go talk to some villagers that we did speak to, but they got intimidated by Sino, and so they lied.
Miss Shawnee, as we discussed earlier, I've brought someone with me.
The fact is that only one side of my family is desert folk. I don't really fit in anywhere in Sumeru. Some believe in the Dendro Archon, while others believe in the Scarlet King. I don't belong to either side, and neither side would want me.
Speaking of which, the radicals mentioned that they despise traitors. Do they just think that anyone who's different from them is a traitor?
Yeah. Some people can be so narrow-minded when it comes to bloodline and beliefs.
Oi.
Slowly, I just stopped talking to people. I pretended not to hear or see anything, and then it happened. The village keepers who had helped me disappeared with no explanation, and I didn't dare breathe a word about it to anyone. Until now.
You can tell them.
Oh.
I'm sure she'll keep your secret.
All right. I'll tell you what I told Alhaitham. I actually have a sharper sense of hearing than most. Sometimes, I hear strange crying sounds in the night.
There are ghosts?
Perhaps. I'm not sure.
Could you make out where the sounds are coming from?
There's really nothing around these parts, except for an old hospital not far from the village.
I think they used to use it for treating Elazar.
Okay, let's go!
Let's go!
Not much in here.
Hey, we haven't found squat!
Patience. Shawnee says she only hears the crying at night. We have time to burn. Until then.
Until then, okay, goodbye, I guess. I'm taking a break. Okay, cool.
And just like that, he sits down. Wait, he even brought a book to read? What are you reading? Let Paimon see!
Okay, sure.
Huh? The natural position, which is the positional propensity of an entity in natural motion in contrast with an object in forced motion? Huh? When free from external influences, every entity displays the tendency to follow its natural trajectory?
So, you got that?
Oh, Paimon gives up. You keep reading your book.
What are you
ya?
reading?
How is he so relaxed? Look at him, reading an impossible book in a creepy place like this. Huh? What was that sound?
Oh, I don't like
There it
that.
is.
Ew.
It's coming from that direction.
That doesn't sound like crying. What the frick is that?
Is the sound coming from here? Huh. Paimon's not seeing anything.
Oh. It's like
It's from
muffled.
below.
It's like muffled screaming and crying or
There's no way
something.
we can get...
Something is off about the interior here.
Somebody's like trapped in there.
As I thought. There's a hidden structure.
Wow. It's like they tucked another hospital into this one.
Dear.
Oh, it looks like there are other mechanisms
Wait a
around
minute.
here. Let's keep exploring.
This isn't where Dottore does experiments, right? This is a hospital.
Look, there's someone over there.
You need to be careful.
Good idea. Let's approach him slowly without alarming him.
Wait.
What?
He can't speak, and his eyes are unfocused. But he looks too young to be anyone's grandfather.
Not the grandfather.
Also, why is he the only one here?
Didn't expect to see him here.
Who is him?
You know him?
He's Razak, a senior of mine at the academia.
What?
He's a scholar too? Is he the kind that holes up in a forest and mumbles stuff about training?
No. And that's the problem. Razak was never involved in any of those things. He never trained in the forest, let alone reach Satyavada life.
How did he become like this?
Leaving that question aside for the moment, him being here alone means that we might be too late. Looks like they've already taken everyone away. For whatever reason, they left Razak here. There are drag marks on the ground. They're clearer by the doorway. Someone was forcefully drawing a cart that was loaded with something heavy.
Loaded with people?
I
That
don't
is
like
one
where
possibility.
This is going.
It looks like they were in a hurry. The symptoms are identical. Looks like we found living proof.
Huh? Why do you say that?
Allow me to jog your memory. Recall your time at Port Ormos.
Yeah, with the
Don't
guy
you think
we
his symptoms
encountered.
look familiar?
That Aramet guy who went mad.
Oh, now that you mention it, they're acting the same way.
Correct. The academia is behind all of this. It isn't difficult to deduce their rationale. First, the academia spread a false rumor of the Scarlet King's resurrection, emphasizing the role of the village keepers, the mad scholars who were exiled to Aru village. These rumors were all the persuasion that the radicals needed, and those based in Aru village leapt into action. Unbeknownst to them, of course, through rounding up the scholars, they were actually helping the academia.
What?
As well as being able to exploit the radicals for their own ends, this scheme has one further advantage to the academia. All the risks and responsibilities are offloaded onto the Scarlet King's followers.
Wasn't it the academia that brought the scholars to Aru village in the first place? Why does it want them back now?
Throughout this process, one thing has changed. The scholars' identity. First, they were scholars. Then, they became lunatics. After that, they were exiles. And finally, they become missing persons. One possibility is that the information in their brains could be extracted into knowledge capsules.
Ugh.
Extracted? You mean canned knowledge comes from people's brains?
With the technology of the Sumeru Academia, it's entirely possible. Perhaps the process caused them great suffering, which is why they cry out in the dead of night, when no one is watching them.
So, the human brain...
Oh dear.
I'm the Academia scribe, after all. I'm familiar with their projects. Anyway, judging by Razak's state, the contents of a divine knowledge capsule were extracted from his mind. But something went wrong in the process. Or perhaps his curiosity got the better of him, and he used such a capsule for himself.
Oh god.
Hyman's a little confused. Can
Oh.
they just use
And then he
anyone's brain?
found out what happened to him. Oh. The academia needs people who have been exposed to the divine consciousness.
That's right. To some scholars, gaining knowledge about the gods is their entire life's pursuit. Extracting canned knowledge is just one of the extreme measures they turn to.
Oh my god.
However, I can't help but wonder, what do they seek to gain from divine knowledge? The academia is going out of their way to look for forbidden knowledge, but what is their ultimate goal?
So what do we do with him?
He won't last long if we leave him here. Let's take him with us. We'll work out our next step after we return to Aru village.
So, at one point in time, the abandoned Elazar hospital served as the academia's site for extracting divine cant knowledge.
Yep, pretty much.
Their plan must have been implemented at some point before we arrived at Aru village, since divine cant knowledge has been in circulation for a while now. Yet, they fled once we were headed to the village, almost as if they knew we were on their trail. Why is that?
Yeah, why is that?
We may have a mole in our midst.
Looks like none of you have realized wherein lies the issue.
Care to share your thoughts?
Sino, you're the reason why they can predict our movements.
Wait, what's that supposed to mean?
Choose your next words very carefully.
It is simply a logical inference. I have my reasons.
So what you're saying is, Cynos the mole.
But
Interesting. And here I thought you were the most suspicious one, Alhaitham, since you were always acting alone.
I know. You have a point. But I realized something as we were returning from the hospital. Cyno isn't like any of us.
What are you trying to say?
Do you still remember who you are, General Mahamatra? Before you can take action against someone, you are required to have all the facts available, including the less than savory details. Simply put, the academia has traditionally allowed you access to a wealth of sensitive information. Knowing their modus operandi, wouldn't you expect them to take precautions against you?
The academia is monitoring me?
It's not that simple. The academia has eyes all over Sumeru, but they have a special protocol for dealing with you. Every so often comes a Nyagarbaha Day. On this day, the academia enters new information into the Akasha through knowledge capsules. I remember seeing the thick notebook next to the control panel once. Its contents were all about the General Mahamatra, his activities throughout the day, preferred methods of enacting judgment, everything.
You're saying that the academia entered my information into the Akasha too? But what's the point in doing that? My actions aren't important enough to be added into the Akasha.
The Akasha is capable of computation. The Akasha's algorithms are entirely capable of predicting your movements using the data entered. When you would depart, the route you would follow, your destination. It knew all of this.
Oh.
It predicted my every move.
Don't take it to heart. This just proves how much of a trustworthy ally you are.
They escaped because of me.
Don't blame yourself. It's not like any of us would have known.
I have an idea. If they predicted my movements, then I might be able to guess where they went.
If the academia is trying to avoid Cyno, then the safest place would be...
One step behind him.
Yep, that's right. So, where do we go from here?
Cyno, do you remember the route you took?
Yes. After leaving the village, we should head straight toward the desert. There's something here.
What is that?
What's this?
These are likely fragments of an academia-developed device, something akin to a headset.
What is that?
Looks like there were more than one village keeper. They must have been escorted this way because there are device fragments scattered around here. Let's split up and search the area. Chances are that we'll find other things nearby.
This is definitely a device used to extract divine knowledge.
Oh.
How did it end up buried in the sand? That can't have been part of the plan. It sounds like an argument.
What?
You have really good ears.
Shh, Paimon. Shush.
Don't get any closer. They'll notice us.
Dia's talking with the Eremites? Very interesting.
What?
Let's listen in.
Why is she talking with the
If
Eremites?
you had informed me sooner, there'd be plenty of room for us to...
Dia? Why would you... Dia!
No. No.
Hey, what are you doing?
Didn't you say you'd help me find Grandpa? Why are you on their side?
Well, look who's here. Ain't that something?
This complicates things.
You've betrayed Aru village?
So, this is the great General Mahamatra. Dear, you'd be better off as my assistant than hanging around with this motley crew.
I'm not the type that's easily swayed, Raman. You of all people should know that.
Wait, what's going on, Dia? Whose side are you on here?
I think she's on our side.
Shut it, Paimon.
Oh!
Doesn't matter. Whichever side you pick, nothing could deter us from the grand mission of resurrecting the Scarlet King. Once our Lord of Old returns to this land, we will have a new beginning. With these scholars in our custody, we'll stomp the Academia's forces and fight our way beyond the wall of Samiel.
Ridiculous. Think about it. The Academia controls the entirety of Sumeru. Your powers are negligible in comparison. If you still don't believe me, then try asking these two men. They're also against the Academia, but neither of them are as arrogant as you are.
They look more like pawns of the Academia to me. Filthy traitors. Your god abandoned all honor and betrayed the Scarlet King. We desert dwellers will never trust the likes of you.
It's impossible to communicate with someone so hostile.
For real.
Perhaps we should.
Do you really believe that by kidnapping the scholars, you'll be able to negotiate with the Academia?
I'll hate them.
These people have no value as bargaining chips, but I could be persuaded to take their place as your next hostage. These scholars were exiled from the Academia. I, on the other hand,
What are you
am their
doing?
current scribe, and will be a much greater asset to you.
Wait, you can't be serious.
So, you want to trade places with the hostages, do you?
Precisely. Any wise person would gladly accept my offer.
What are you thinking? What if they decide to kill you instead?
Well, that would be bad luck for me. However, I'd get the chance to observe the scholars, perhaps even find out the truth.
You'd risk that much?
Think you can talk me over with that confident look of yours?
I'm not trying to persuade you. I'm using this as a means of joining forces against the Academia.
You are the scribe. What do you have against the Academia?
Not all desert dwellers believe in the Scarlet King, and the same applies to the Academia. Why must all knowledge seekers approve of the Academia's way of doing things?
These people are my friends. Maybe you can't take the followers of the Dendro Archon at their word, but what about me? Do you trust me?
We've known each other for years. Of course I do.
In that case, I'm willing to vouch for their honesty with my right arm.
Oh?
Come on, Raman, don't be a coward. If you're serious about taking on the Academia, you need to steel yourself. You can't be afraid.
An arm from the Flame Mane. You've piqued my interest.
I promised my friends that we'd bring back the Village Keepers together.
Let's do it right here then. Give me your right arm as proof of your resolve.
Oh! What are you
Raman,
doing?
I'm holding up my end of the deal here. You'd better not let me down.
Sure. Go ahead and cut off her right arm.
Oh my god.
No!
Oh no, there's a child here!
What are you gonna do? Think of something!
You don't have to go this far.
That's not for you to decide.
Do it! Stop!
What's wrong? Can't do it?
Flame Mane, you and I are both desert folk. Cutting off your arm is no different than cutting off my own fingers. Where's the sense in cutting my own kin to pieces? You've shown me that you're serious. Go on now, take your friends and leave. Meet me in the desert at noon tomorrow.
Huh. They got here before us.
Uh-oh. Is it because Paimon overslept by 5 minutes and held everyone up?
You didn't have to admit that.
Is everything ready?
Absolutely. Although, you brought fewer people than I imagined.
Bring him over.
Who are you?
Grandpa!
Wait, that's Grandpa?
Why is there only one of them?
Raman, I've always thought of you as a man of his word. What's this about?
Yeah, this is supposed to be
It's
a fair
one
trade.
for one exchange. Sounds fair, don't you think?
Whoa.
Let me put it this way. Agreeing to any kind of deal with the Dendro Archon's people is already a huge compromise on my part. Don't you think you've asked enough?
What's happening? Whoa, Dia!
What do you think you're doing?
Yep, we have a hostage here, bro.
Don't you see this blade here? You coward! Why are your hands shaking? Wait a second!
It's an earthquake. going?
Ugh, this day's going just great.
What a nuisance.
The sand dune collapsed. I saw an energy field. The village keeper protected us. It glowed green with dendro. Just like you said, it may well have been the remains of Lesser Lord Kusanali's power inside the scholar's body.
No doubt. You finally believe me.
The dendro archon. The present one.
Grandpa? Grandpa? Oh no, he's getting confused again.
Hey, look around you.
Where are the other guys?
Did there used to be a temple here?
It seems that when the sand dune collapsed, it exposed these underground structures. The symbols on the gate belong to the Scarlet King's civilization. This structure must be ancient. It could have been an underground palace in the distant past.
Oh, a miracle.
There they are.
Praise the Scarlet King!
What's he doing here? And his men too?
1 minute, Lesser Lord Kusanali's power protects us from harm, and the next, remnants of the Scarlet King's civilization appear. 2 major deities are vying to showcase their power to us. It would be a shame not to witness them both.
Paimon thought you weren't interested in gods.
Indeed. In my view, gods are just a higher form of living being. Or creature, you could say. New discoveries are always worth investigating.
Raman, what are you gonna do about your men?
I'll just let them lay here. The Scarlet King will take care of his people. Right
Oh
now,
my.
I'm going inside.
Really, dude? Pretty.
It's full of life here.
Yeah.
This defies comprehension. It looked completely desolate from the outside. Yet, it flows with energy inside.
Yeah, and there's so many plants. It's so pretty.
What is that? Rotate. Huh. There's some, like, images. Look up at the hall as a mortal and listen to King Deshret's holy guidance. Okay. So that's looking up as a portal, and then I guess appease the god, and then boom, the god. What? Okay, maybe not. Oh, sure, they're all the same picture. I don't know. What was that scripture supposed to be for? I don't know. Whatever. Ooh. Whoa. Ooh. What? Hey. What's going on here? Give me my chest. Yeah. This is weird.
The Scarlet King's splendor surrounds us.
There's so much vegetation here. It's different than what I expected.
Sure are a lot of plants for a desert.
That's what I call divine providence of the Scarlet King.
Oh. What a unique dim. Where are we going? That's a portal. Ah! Oh.
It's getting brighter. Oh, it looks so beautiful. A load of flowers. And it looks like there's something among them.
Looks like a tomb.
Oh, these are Scarlet King runes.
They left something behind. Yes. It's an elegy written in an ancient script.
What does it say?
Here lies our faithful priest Kasala. His wisdom is a miracle among the people, deserving of high praise and admiration.
You can read ancient Scarlet King script?
Of course. Every student needs to master at least 20 languages before they
What
graduate.
the frick? 20!
Serious, right?
I'm not going to
There's
that
still
school.
something-
There's a device from the Scarlet King's civilization in this gravesite. I'll transmit the information over and project it for everyone to see.
Isn't sharing knowledge against the Academia's rules?
Yes. However, under the circumstances, I'd prefer you to see this for yourself.
It's Star Wars. You're gonna have a figure. Oh.
Civilization is born of knowledge, but so too can knowledge be its demise. A disaster caught us unaware. It was knowledge that did not belong to this world. The Scarlet King brought this forbidden knowledge into our world, and it quickly spread like a plague. People's minds were filled with crazed whispers. Dark gray scales spread across their bodies. Even the land was stripped of its vigor. Only a desperate, deathly silence remained. Were it not for greater Lord Rukkhadevata from the forests, the damage would have been irreversible. She summoned the priests to build temples and infused into them the divine power of life. The disaster was miraculously tempered, and the embers of our civilization were preserved in Aru village. Alas, the miracle could not last. As long as forbidden knowledge continued to exist, it would forever blight this world. In the end, the proud king of the desert, my eternal lord, chose to sacrifice himself.
Oh.
I have spent my whole life since guarding one of these many temples. But now, my duty is coming to an end. As I close my eyes for the final time, the sight of that noble deity will appear in my vision once more. In helping the Scarlet King to eradicate forbidden knowledge, she exhausted her strength, and her form became that of a small child. How strange. Now that I think of her, I no longer have any fear of death, for I sense that the spirit of life will abide with me during my eternal sleep. Children of the desert, cling no longer to past grievances, but hold tight to the memory of this act of benevolence.
Well, they really didn't do that, so that's kind of awkward.
What was that?
The priest's memories.
No, impossible.
Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. So the former Dendro Archon and the Scarlet King were never enemies at all.
But this doesn't make any sense. The Dendro Archon's followers, they're clearly...
You might be distrustful of the Akasha, but there's no reason for you to doubt the Scarlet King's technology. You've just witnessed his priest's last words.
I've never heard about any of this before. The surviving followers of the Scarlet King all gathered in Aru village. Our god did not make mistakes. We refused to believe any of the rumors. The Scarlet King's death, the all but total annihilation of our civilization. It was all Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's doing. We saw her as nothing more than a traitor, who stabbed us in the back in our moment of crisis. Dia, tell me, my Eremites and I, what are we even fighting for?
Nothing. Literally nothing.
I feel deeply ashamed of everything I've done. But please, give me some time. After everything that's happened here today, somehow I need to explain it to the others.
It's not gonna be easy.
Well, I guess that's for me to deal with.
When would be a good time for us to go?
Tomorrow, I'll convince everyone that we're all on the same side. And I'll return every last one of your your village keepers.
You seem to finally understand that our true enemy is the sages.
Yes. The gods never gave up on anyone.
That must have been rough. But he seems to have figured things out now.
From here on out, we're allies.
Where are the perpetrators?
I'll bring you to them. Follow me.
It's some academia people!
Oh no, it's the scribe!
There's no need to yell. No one can help you now.
Time to exact some justice?
General Mahamatra? No, no! Make it quick, please! Swift and painless!
Whoa. The moment they set eyes on Sino, they turned pale like they've seen a ghost!
You should have known that I would be coming for you.
Wait, we were just following orders. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, not Sino. He's gonna tear us limb from limb.
I could do worse.
Please have mercy.
Start talking. Otherwise, I'll have to resort to other methods.
So, your superiors have kept you quite busy recently. Why?
They, wanted to extract canned knowledge.
Don't play dumb. You know what I'm really asking. They extract divine canned knowledge. Then what?
I really don't know how to explain it.
Well, you better explain
You
it!
better start talking.
Yeah,
You don't want
bro!
to make things any more difficult for yourself, do ya?
May I ask them a question?
Be my guest.
The sages are trying to create a new god, aren't they?
Huh?
Uh-huh. That sure didn't sound like a fancy metaphor or anything. You're serious, aren't you?
How did you know?
Because I
There's
saw
no
it.
use hiding it now. Yes, you're right. The academia is working on an important and potentially world-changing project. They are creating a new god. A god that will belong to them and to the people of Sumeru. It may seem as if Sumeru's academics are thriving, but ever since the death of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, scholarly breakthroughs have been few and far between. The withering of Irminsul has been getting worse recently. The sages have tried everything they could think of, but nothing's worked. I'm always hearing them say things like, if only Greater Lord Rukkhadevata was still with us.
Continue.
And then, someone from the Fatui showed up. They called him the Doctor. He brought a gnosis and said he wanted to borrow the Academia's research facilities. The Doctor was previously expelled from the Academia. At first, the sages looked down at him in disdain. But when he said those words, everyone's expression changed. He asked them, "Do you wish to create a god?"
This is what the arrogant ignorance at the extreme end of academia looks like.
First, the Academia spent a long time constructing a divine vessel, which was based on an exquisite humanoid puppet. After that,
Scaramouche.
they harvested dreams via the Zeb-Zerus Festival Samsara, maximizing the Akasha's output.
Oh.
With the Doctor's help, and the Akasha now functioning at maximum efficiency, they were able to use it to extract the power from the Gnosis and convert it into a divine core.
What?
Next, they decided that their new god needed to possess divine wisdom. For that to happen, they needed a huge quantity of divine canned knowledge.
But how do you determine whether the knowledge extracted is of divine origin?
Call it an educated guess? The Academia has been trying to figure out the exact source of the Scholar's madness for centuries, but to no avail. Nobody can explain the cause of this phenomenon. Surely you can see what that implies, Scribe Alhaitham. If it's knowledge no mortal can comprehend, then it must be something only gods are able to decipher.
But the sage's end product won't be Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, it will be the Balladeer.
You must have noticed by now. The Academia doesn't care about who their god is. It is as if they are cursed with a desire for omniscience and omnipotence that burns in their blood. Some organisms demonstrate phototaxis, and thus orient their entire lives in respect to sources of light. For the sages, their only source of hope is the existence of a deity who embodies the acme of wisdom. This is but a form of phototaxis. For many scholars, the absence of a god of wisdom means stumbling in the darkness for the duration of their lives.
Then what does Lesser Lord Kusanali mean to you? Is she not a true god present in this world? If you already have a new god, why try to create another one?
From the beginning, the Academia has never treated her as a god. When the Academia first discovered Lesser Lord Kusanali, the newborn god of wisdom, the sages hoped that she would be as wise as Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. But upon evaluation, they found that at the time she possessed no more intelligence than any ordinary human child. The sages never had a ruder awakening. This forced them to accept that Greater Lord Rukkhadevata had indeed passed away. Not to mention that Lesser Lord Kusanali's Gnosis had been used to power the Akasha this entire time. By herself, she has neither an Archon's raw power, nor the spectacular insight expected of a god of wisdom.
I disagree.
Slowly but surely, people began to forget about her existence.
So, this is the path the sages have chosen.
Raman, give me a few men to help us escort the village keepers back to the village.
Sure, as you wish.
It's time to make a plan.
Indeed. These events are a flagrant transgression of the rules in every sense.
So, everyone, are we on the same page?
Crush the sages and rescue our god. That is our ultimate goal.
Epic.
Well, let's brainstorm a little more about what other resources we can draw on.
The next time we gather here, we must have a solid plan.
Yep, it'll work out for sure.
What the frick? Why'd you just end it there? Hey! Bro. They ended it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye!